Hello and welcome to Boomer Live. Today we are here to discuss on a thrilling or an action-packed game between Punjab Kings and the Kolkata Knight Riders. It was KKR who won the toss and put Punjab into bat, and Punjab it was all action, it was all boom boom, and they lost 3 wickets in the power play where their score was 62. But it was also an action-packed innings, I would say. Rajapaksha who took down Mavi for 22 runs in an over. From there, the Punjab Kings only managed to score 138, and it was KKR who chased it on quite comfortably, all thanks to the man Russell Muscle who took them to the finish line. I have Nikhil and Jones joining me. I'll get to Jones first up. Jones, you saw this Punjab batting. A lot of mixed emotions about it because some people say this is the intent at which some should play T20 cricket, but some say you should be a little more tentative. What did you make of that approach?
I think if you look at the batting, Livingston or O'Dane Smith or Rajapaksa, etc., almost everyone are this kind of batter who can go at a very good pace, who can take down the bowlers, and that is the role of the middle order. And if Shikhar Dhawan can stay as an anchor role, what he has been doing for Delhi Capitals in last 3 seasons, that will be the most important factor for Punjab Kings if they need to take this formula into the 14 matches. So, how Shikhar Dhawan going to perform in the upcoming 12 matches, or if they are qualifying to the playoff, that will be really vital for Punjab Kings' chances as well. And Bairstow will be coming back as well. That will be giving them more experience in that middle order. And we all know that if you look at the experience factor, Raj Bawa does not have much experience, or Dane Smith does not have much experience in international format. Then there is Livingston who is in and around of the England system as well. So that experience factor might be lacking, especially while batting first. Batting second, they know the total and they can go at a certain rate. But batting first, it's really difficult, and we all know what is happening in this IPL as well. So with this inexperience factor, and batting first might be difficult. So once Bairstow is coming back, that will be giving more lots of help for the openers because both openers have a lot more experience. As I said earlier, the one's form will be vital for them because most of the other batters can go for 140 plus strike rate, 145 plus strike rate on that given day. But if the one can anchor and score around 550 or 500 run season, which he has been doing for Delhi Capitals in last 3 seasons, if he can do again that, I still think Punjab Kings will be one of the teams to watch out in this IPL.
We often talk about Punjab Kings in the last 3 years as well. They've always had a very strong, creamy layer at the top. But when it comes to middle order, it is a little iffy. Nikhil, my question is that yet again you're giving a little iffy on middle order, isn't it? Because you have a Raj Bauer, you have a Shah Rukh Khan, you have an O'Dane Smith, who won them the last match, but still he's not the most consistent performer. You cannot expect him to win 5 games out of the 14. You cannot expect him to win 10 games. So will the batting order or will the Punjab team change their approach going forward, thinking that okay, they do not have the most experienced middle order going ahead in the tournament?
I think we all knew that from the very start that they have an inexperienced middle order. And
Right.
the problem, as John said rightly, it is with teams batting first. Sometimes you're not sure of what pace you want to bat, on what pace you want to go after the bowling. Like
Right.
today's example, Liam Livingstone, Umesh Yadav came back to get a wicket, and in that very over, in the last ball, Livingstone went after him and he got out. I think those kind of tough are very tough calls to make because when there is an inexperienced Indian middle order to follow, you will want to be a bit more calculative. Had he
Right.
stuck around for a few more overs, things would have been way more different. And it puts his spot as well in danger with Johnny Bairstow coming back and Rajapaksha playing so freely. Because
Right.
then Punjab have to take a call that okay, who do they go with? I think they'll not change their approach, but it is going to be a case that when teams bat first, your openers have to ensure that they are giving a good start. I think today Mayank also first ball he wanted to give room to Umesh and play a very expansive shot. I think
Right.
I'm while it is very good to see for intent, but I think it's very safe. It's very not safe. It's very risky because if they get out early, then the middle order is exposed and then you're going nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to know both of your perspective on this man who has set up plays the IPL so far. Umesh Yadav, the current purple cap holder. Jones, first up to you. What did you make of his bowling? Because it is now Umesh Yadav 2.0 in T20 cricket. We've seen him in 2018 as well. He had a terrific start of the IPL. He picked up wickets consistently for RCB in the power play, but RCB used him in the death, which made his season look much more mediocre. But right now, he looks like a much more potent bowler up in T20 cricket, swinging the ball and also troubling the batsman.
Yes, that has been the success story of Kolkata Knight Riders as well. They have been using the resources so well. They know that their death bowling is weak, so they are maximizing the resources in the first 16 overs and take the game away from the opposition. Tim Southey with the new ball, Umesh Yadav with the new ball, Varun and Nare in the middle overs, and they are looking to win the game within 16 overs or
Right.
take down the main batters of the opposition by 16th over, and that has been success story for Kolkata in last two from the UAE edition to till now. Even same with RCB as well. Both the teams has been they had limitations in the squad. They knows that limitations and they are maximizing their strength and winning the games. So we need to credit the management and the captain as well. First last year it was Morgan. Right now it's Shreyas Iyer as well, and Brandon McCallum. We all know that he when he was the captain for the New Zealand, he tried these things. Like even back then, New Zealand had lots of weaknesses as a team. But
Right.
their strength was Trent Ball, Tim Southey, etc. with the new ball, and we saw that with Trent Ball with the new ball in that Eden Park game against Australia, etc. McCallum has been doing these things, and the way he has been, his New Zealand team played as a batting lineup as well, go for the attack, etc. And right now, if you look at the way they have been investing on Rahane, we all know Rahane how well he can play in the power play. Right now, if you look at Rahane's scores in this IPL, he has been looking scoring those boundaries, and it will be helping that middle order as well. I think they are maximizing their resources really well, and that is one of the reasons why they are winning the games as well.
Nikhil, I would like to know from you as well because what we are seeing on Umesh Yadav is something what we are seeing very different this year at least. Because last couple of seasons, whenever he got chances for RCB, he was wavered with his lengths, and even in Test cricket when he got the opportunity in South Africa as well, he was not looking 100%. What would have probably enlightened that spark in him to come and ball like this? Because he's balling in some serious pace out there and also troubling some of the top class batsmen.
I think this question was asked to him in the, I think, the mid-match show, where he said that he's been out of the white ball setup for a while, but whenever he played white ball setup, this has been the instructions given to him that we want you to just bowl at your best in the first few overs. Give us those new ball wickets. It is okay if you go for those runs because as we see in this entire season so far, in every power play we've seen one new ball bowler taking 2 to 3 wickets, and that
Right.
has set the game up for them. So that is the same. I think RCB also used him very well when they only bowled him in the power play, and you try to finish off his overs by the 11th or the 12th over before the acceleration begins again. So I think that is the best way to use somebody like an Umesh, and it is good to see him being used in the best possible way. I think it is how Mumbai used Trent Bolt, where they would have Trent Bolt bowling most of his over up top and just keep one for the end, if at all. So I think that is best usage of resources, as Jones rightly mentioned. The management is ensuring that people are used in the best possible way. I mean, something that Stephen Fleming also referred to in this post-match conference, that they wanted to get the best out of their main players, and they knew that they had a hole down the line, that they were an overshot, and they were banking on the experienced guys to maybe take 1 or 2 wickets and then make it easier. But then that didn't happen. So it is okay. I think it will happen with most teams today. Like we see for Punjab, once you lose the toss and once you lose early wickets, it becomes very hard. So that new ball power play bowler is very important for any side.
Yeah, right. Jones, now this is the second time you're seeing Punjab bowlers getting hammered, and they've almost gone at 10 and over even today. Do you see some major chunks in their armor? Because now you have Rabada back for sure, but then if you look at the support bowlers, seriously see some big holes. Arshdeep Singh, he had a good season last time around, but if you look at the spinning, Rahul Chahar, he's been on and off. And if you look Odean Smith, he doesn't look up out at all. So do you really reckon that Punjab should be looking to revamp their bowling a little bit going into the next match, or should they stick with this bowling attack?
Uh, I think we don't need to look too much into this result, and we all know what is happening in the IPL.
Yeah,
Like batting first teams has been losing the matches. Apart from that one game, and we all know what happened during that game. There was
yeah,
lots of no balls, there was lots of drop
yeah,
cats, etc. So I don't think we need to look too much into that. First we need to look at the positives. Like Rahul Chahar has been a big positive right now. He has been bowling so well in the first two matches, and Rabada came today. He took the wicket in power play. If you look
yeah,
at Rabada, the bowler with Delhi Capitals, he was not taking the wickets in power play.
yeah,
He used to take wickets more in middle overs, in death overs, etc. But coming into this season, he took the wicket in power play. So there are a few small positives they can look and take into the next few matches. And we all know their strength is batting. Their batters need to win the matches. Their batters need to, if they're batting first, their batters need to score 30 plus or 40 plus, etc.
right,
Because they have
right,
paid the ball. Like Livingston, they have paid 11 crores something, if I'm right. Bairstow, they have paid a lot. Shikhar Dhawan, a lot. Compared to the bowling, if you look at the bowling, they haven't paid much. Even Ramada, I think it was 7 or 8 something. If you compare with other bowlers who went during that stage, so they didn't pay much to the bowlers compared to the batters. So their batters need to win. If you look at CSK or other franchisee, they paid for their bowlers a lot. Even Deepak Chahar went for 40 crores, or
Yeah.
Thakur for Delhi Capitals, and there are lots of other franchises, Avesh Khan, etc. etc. But if you look at Punjab didn't pay that much compared to other franchises. So I believe the batters need to win the game, so they need to score 20 plus or 30 plus in each game. And as I said earlier, there are positives as well. Rahul Chahar has been a big positive. The way he has been bowling in last two matches, I think he has been one of the best bowlers in IPL so far. The control he is getting, he is bowling almost similar to what he did for Mumbai Indians in IPL 2020. He
right.
was one of the best spinners during that time in IPL 2019 and 2020. So there are few positives they need to look, and they have few others like Sandeep Sharma is there, Ishan Porel is there, so they have got good Indian backups as well. If Akshadeep is not performing in next 3 or 4 games, then they can try out Sandeep or someone else. And I still believe Oden Smith can provide that stability as a six bowling option or seven bowling option. And they need to bowl Livingston as well. He has been bowling a
Yeah.
lot in other franchise leagues. We all know his ability. He can bowl leg spin and off spin against right armers, right-handed batters. He can bowl leg spin, etc. So he has been proven bowler in other franchise leagues. I don't know why Punjab is not using that. Maybe they don't have trust, but he's an
Mm.
improving bowler. And we saw in the World Cup as well. He bowled for England as well. If he is bowling for England in a T20 World Cup, why he can't bowl in
Yeah.
IPL? So I really hope he will be bowling coming matches, and that will be putting the most stability. Like if someone is going for runs, they can try out other bowlers as well as six bowling options, seven bowling options, etc.
Right. No, that's a very interesting point by Jones and Liam Livingston. Now, that brings me to a very interesting topic as well. Now, Johnny Bairstow is definitely going to be in for the next match. So, are you going to drop someone like Manuka Rajapaksa, who has actually given Punjab some really good starts in the last couple of games? And even today, in that over where he took Ashura for 22 runs, he looked class apart and he has got that X factor ability.
Yeah.
So, is Johnny Bairstow a direct swap for someone like Manuka Rajapaksa, or do you see Johnny Bairstow coming in for someone like Liam Livingston? Nikhil.
Yeah, I think it's a very tricky call to take. I expected him to directly be a swap with Rajapaksha first, but I don't know. Given the starts Rajapaksha have had, and given how Livingston has played so far, see if they are not going to use Livingston with the ball, then it makes sense to for Livingston to go out and Johnny Bairstow to come in. So
Mm,
in that case, then it's a direct swap. But if they want to use Livingston the bowler, then it has to be between Rajapaksha and Johnny Bairstow. So
right.
it's going to be a very tricky call because these are the times when if the replacement player does better, then you are put in a fix that now how do you drop that replacement player who's done well. So
Right.
it depends on how they want to use Livingston, and that is how I think they'll take the call for that.
Jones, I have an interesting take now because Kolkata, they've done decently well up top, but then if you look at the last couple of matches, they've had some issues up in the top order. So, do you mind seeing Sam Billings move maybe at number 4, or just push Nitish Rana a little bit down and see how things work from there on? Because there has been a clear issue with their top order, and up there number 3, number 4 as well.
Uh, I think before the season as well, everyone was saying if Russell is not having a good season, KKR would not be in the top four. If Russell is doing well, they can KKR will be in the top four. Because if you look at their team from IPL 2021 and IPL 2022, they haven't done much work. If once Pat Cummins is returning, Pat Cummins will be batting at number seven. He was batting at
Yeah.
number seven in last year as well, and he will be batting at number seven in this year as well. And Pat Cummins is not a number seven batsman in T20 format. He should be batting at number eight or number nine, something else. So that is where KKR lacks. Even in moving forward the season as well, you can't expect Russell to do each and every time to win the games, etc. And Sam Billings as a T20 batsman as well, he needs to prove more compared to what he has done for England when he got opportunity in ODI format. So everyone knew KKR was not a great team compared to if you look at most of the other franchises like LSG or Delhi Capitals or CSK
Right.
or any others. But the main aspect they are doing right is that they are using these resources, like how they can win the games or how they can get best out of the players, like Umesh Yadav in the power play, as we mentioned earlier, then winning the game with the ball in the 16th over itself. They are not looking for last 4 overs because they know they don't have a Joffrey Archer or Boomerang or Nokia or someone else. They have the limitation, so they are trying to win the game at the end of 16th over, and their batting can chase down these 140, 150, 160, etc. as well.
Right.
Like
Right.
Rahane, Iyer is there. This run against spin can be a good factor, etc. So
Yeah.
but the issue with if you are looking at this one at number five, number six, can he play against raw pace? Because every team has got raw pace bowlers as well.
Yeah.
Or some team has got Chamira, Avesh Khan, etc. Nokia, once Nokia is back, he will be there. Then Boomerang will be there. So can this runner play that role of finishing, etc.? That will be another question as well. The biggest issue will be how they are going to manage once Pat Cummins is back as well. We
Yep.
need to look at because the way Southee he has been bowling so well, even for New Zealand as well. We all know
Yeah.
he has got limitations in death overs, but from first over to 16th over, he has been one of the best bowlers in last few years. He is an improved version in white ball format as well. So I'm really looking forward to see how that goes. Even Pat Cummins can contribute the bat as well, but still I don't think he's a number seven batsman in T20 format.
Absolutely. Nikhil, coming to you, one of the most
Yeah.
talked about topics even before the IPL was Shreyas Iyer's captaincy. What did you
Yeah.
make of him and how do you think he has marshaled the results? Because Jones has rightly mentioned he's done so far very good in terms of the team management. And how would you rate Shreyas Iyer's captaincy personally?
I honestly think captaincy in today's day and age, as we discussed a while back, we can't actually put a finger on it because we don't have anything in open that how much of this is pre-planned with the management and how much of it is changing plans on the field.
Right.
So, in that regards, I think Shreyas, the plan is I think have worked very well for KKR so far. I think where Shreyas captaincy could come into the game is when KKR are tested while they are bowling second, in the later stages. Because I think against RCB as well, Umesh did the job up top. So they were always in the game, and I think so far all the plan is or the first things that they've wanted to do that has come good for them. So I
Right.
think the more game Shreyas plays, that is when we'll know more about his captaincy and how he wants to take forward. Because see, he did well with Delhi, but I'm sure there also he had enough assistance and guidance by Ricky Ponting, and here he has Brendan McCullum to by his side. So far I think he's been fine. But as you said, there are a few calls that they have to take in terms of when Pat Cummins comes back, how they want to go about with Shivam Mavi, what is it with Russell's fitness. So all of these will come into picture somewhere down the line. So I think so far so good. But I think Shreyas here, the batsman, is what KKR will want to see more of because he's been falling to leg spin very often now. So I think that will be something that he'll want to change first, and then yes, captaincy as well down the line.
Absolutely. Now going to that segment, which is already had it on the screen a few seconds
Yeah,
back. It is fantasy players who have won the highest points today, the booming five segment.
yeah,
Nikhil, you see Umesh Yadav there, Andre Russell, who has picked up
yeah.
131 points, Tim Southey, Rahul Sher, Kagiso Rabada, who has actually made it as well. So, Nikhil, handing over to you, how many players do you have in your team? And Jones, did you start playing as well?
I haven't.
We'll have sorry, we'll have to find something very incentive enough for Jones to start playing fantasy. Let's see. We'll figure something out. Uh,
Yeah,
uh, for,
possibly.
for the graphic, I had four of them. I honestly did not
As
expect
usual.
Russell. Yes, touch wood. I didn't expect Russell to. Obviously, I expected him to make an impact, but because they were playing five bowlers, I thought Russell may not bowl enough, so he bowled only 1 over. But it was Narain who I thought would be promoted and not Russell first, and which is why I went with Narain and missed out on Russell. But still, I made money back. I actually got into profit, and which is why something that we'll talk about in the next few seconds. It's very important to think about how we make our fantasy sites.
Talking about that, Nikhil is doing a full-on course
Yep.
with Marabot Sports on how to actually play and win fantasy sports and fantasy cricket, especially. Nikhil, handing over to you on that. What is a course all about, and how much can it benefit a normal viewer?
So yes, as I just said, today I did not have Andy Russell, and yet I got profit out of this game. That is because I've thought long and hard and very, very, very much into the type of contest that I play, the type of leagues that I'm joining, what is my investment in every match. So this is everything that the course covers. It covers everything from A to Z of fantasy cricket in terms of which matches to play, when to join your contest, what all matters when you're playing a contest, what factors to look into, how do you use the data, and how do you ensure that you get something back even on such days. As I said, many of you would have made captains in form of Russells and all of those. Many had Shikhar Dhawan and Shreyas here captain, but I had Sunil Narain and the other all-rounder Livingston as the captain, vice captain. So even with that kind of a team, I got profit back because it's because of the things that I've mentioned in the
Right.
course. That if you think enough long and hard in terms of okay, these are the steps that I need to follow, and
Mm.
if you follow those steps, follow those processes, you will make better, profitable fantasy teams so that you can be in this for a long, long period of time.
Yeah, that's a brilliant advice from Nikhil. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining tonight on discussing this
Yep.
action-packed game because it had us all on the edge of the seat because from
Yep.
the starting of the game in the power play, 3 wickets falling, 62 runs, and towards the ending, Russell Muscle show. So, thank you,
Yep.
gentlemen. And having said that, if you do not want to have any financial risk, you can go to one platform that is Boomer 11. This IPL win price is worth up to $5,000 playing in Boomer
Wow.
11. And do remember, you can follow our Instagram page where we give all the latest sporting memes and all the latest sporting updates, and follow us on Twitter and subscribe our YouTube channel. We'll be having
Yep.
this gentleman throughout the IPL analyzing the games and giving their insight, and we'll also be taking your questions. So
Yep.
thank you and have a good time and have a good night.
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Have a good time.